Okay, so I'm at Centurion, or taking part in Centurion, which is a 3-day event. So Friday, so that was yesterday, we did a, what was it, 2 kilometre swim. So that's like half Ironman distance in, was it Langford Bay? And that was quite choppy actually, more choppy than it looked. That was a good experience for me. I managed, my hands weren't too cold, my feet weren't too cold. Did reasonable time for me, so I was quite pleased with that. And then today I got out on the bike and it was absolutely pissing it down. In fact, we were all just didn't want to leave the house, and I managed to fall off my bike and got some war wounds. So I've got like, oh God, I've got a gash on my shoulder and stuff. I got a thing on my knee and it actually stretches up to my hip and stuff like that, and it wasn't very pretty. I went round a corner well, it wasn't sharp, but there was a drain and it had been raining and it was clearly slippy, and there was just no friction there for my tyres, and my bike just slipped up and I kind of had no control, and I went flying into a wall and scraped all the side of myself, and my jacket is ripped up and my top underneath was ripped up. Thank goodness I was wearing a rain jacket and another top, otherwise the damage would have been quite significant. And then I sort of rolled over onto my back and I had like I don't know, all I could do was feel the pain in my hip, which actually looks like it's come off less damaged than the rest of me. And a marshal was close and came over and basically said to me, you know, are you all right? Do I need to call an ambulance? And I didn't really know. I was a bit delirious. I think I was just in shock. Anyway, he said, I sort of figured I'd be all right. My alarm was going off on my watch because, you know, you have these emergency alarms on these Garmin watches, are pretty good. I managed to like stop it, which meant I was pretty compos mentis and I was obviously thinking straight. So he said, you know, can you come out of the cycleway? Like, because I was just right in the middle of the main cycle route. And then he took my bike, so I got a bit stressed about him taking my bike, poor guy, because I was like, no, that's my ticket to the end. So this was about 17 miles, and I was going fairly well. I was quite chuffed with what I'd done so far. Anyway, he took the bike. The bike was a little bit battered. I think the derailleur might have been bashed, and some of the other sort of parts of the chain was off. So he said, you need me to call and get a mechanical person to help, and I didn't really know. I managed to turn it upside down, fix the chain, push some things into place. It was a bit rickety, but I managed to get back on the bike, and he was quite good actually. He just said, he obviously got, I'm 126, that was my number, and he obviously thought, well, fine, she'll be all right, maybe I'll kind of radio the next guy. And the next time I got to the marshal, I could see them like, 126 is here, like she's made it there. But the problem is my knee. I mean, you know, you can see it now, it's looking, it's actually looking okay now, but it was like dribbling with blood. So it was getting a little bit out of hand, and I had grit in it. So that was starting to get really sore. My shoulder was getting sore. Like I didn't really know what the situation was. And I went another about 10 miles, maybe 15 miles. And I got to the feed station, asked them there about, you know, have they got antiseptic wipe or something? I was thinking, I at least need to clean this thing. All I had was the electrolyte water. So I was squirting water with electrolyte in it over this thing to try and clean it. Obviously that was stinging because it had salt in it, but I thought, well, maybe that's good because it's got salt in it. Anyway, they said to me that there was an ambulance up the hill. So I stopped at the ambulance. So he strapped up my leg, had a little look and strapped up this. I didn't know that I had this big gash in my shoulder at that point. And he said I probably needed some stitches, which I sort of felt was a bit rash. It was only like a small gash and that, but he said, well, okay, I'll strap it up. Why don't you just check when you get to the end? And so I carried on. So that was about mile 30. So I only had 20 miles to go from there. And then one of the girls from the running club and cycling, Maria, passed me at just the right time, and she sort of took me under my wing. I was quite shaken up by the actual crash itself, but I just got on with it, but it was still kind of on my nerves. Anyway, I cycled with Maria for quite some time, and I was really grateful for that because it was a kind of comfort, just I knew she was looking out for me, and I kind of told her what happened. And then eventually, you know, managed it, got my finisher medal, you know, I soldiered on. And then once I got over the line, I just had a bit of a meltdown. I just sort of thought, oh my God, all that stress and those nerves. So that was quite difficult. But then I went into the medic guy, and he strapped me all up and sorted me out. And then I've got some amazing friends who are looking after me. So they know who they are. And so now I'm just bruised. I've got a kind of achy arm and a sort of funny little leg. But I've got this 12-mile run to do tomorrow, which I am going to do because that's how it goes. And you know, I'm all good. And I got back on the bike, so I faced my demons, and I'm okay. So I'm glad I did that, even if that was quite tough to do. You know, if I come off again, you know, if you come off and then you quit, then it's really difficult to get back on again because your nerves are shot and you worry and stuff. So I did get back on and did another, you know, 30 odd miles. So that's good. So, you know, I'm all good. I'm in good spirits. It wasn't ideal. The weather's shit. It was cold, but I was quite well prepared. It was just unfortunate, to be fair.